I'm your host, Ariel.
And I'm your host, Joshua.
And we're the Midnight Guild. Hey, everybody. It's good to see you back. As you can see, we are very dressed up today, honey. We're going way back into Victorian times. Yes. Josh has got us a story today from the Victorian era. And so we dressed to impress.
As we do.
As we do, honey.
Hashtag
we went into Julia's closet, you know, his alter ego. His alter ego, Julia. Honey, we went into her closet and just
found a few things.
Found a few things, girl.
Found a few things.
So, as you can tell, I'm feeling very fancy.
Honey.
I'm feeling myself, honey.
She is Queen Victoria herself tonight, which that would make me Prince Albert.
That's exactly right, honey.
I do like a good Prince Albert.
Yeah. Yes. And as you can see,
she totally went over her head.
Oh my God. I just realized what you said. I literally just realized what you said. Do you know what I was thinking of? Prince Albert chewing tobacco.
Prince Albert in a can.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Had a moment.
Prince Albert in a can, honey. Everybody's grandpa had it.
Some Prince Albert, yes.
So, y'all, we have went digital here.
That's what I was going to talk about.
The Midnight Guild.
Yes.
Honey, we got us some new microphone.
Honey, this was my Christmas present from Joshua.
I do good.
Yes, I was so tickled. I know they were coming? Yes, but then he handed me today and I had forgotten about them. So when I opened them, it was like I never knew.
Honey, she was so shocked. She was taken aback. And I'm like, Ariel, I literally told you about these a week ago. Because, you know.
Was it a week? I thought it was like 2 weeks ago.
Well, you know, I had to get your, input on which ones to buy. Because, you know, she's the technical advisor. Honey, I'm the set designer. Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. And apparently costumer.
Costumer. Yes. And I mean, look at this ambiance, honey.
Yes, honey. We showed up to show out.
We did.
Yes, we did. So definitely let us know if our audio has improved. If we're being too loud, you know, because I do have a tendency to yell just a little bit sometimes.
Well, I do too. I get excited.
I do. I get excited and then I get a little loud. So definitely let us know if we need to, you know, make a little adjustments or anything, you know, because here at the Midnight Guild, we care about you.
We live to serve.
Yes, that's a bit much.
I was trying to be in character. Ish.
So, wow. So I do have a lovely little story that I found about you because I don't know why, but Christmas and murder in the Victorian era, it just goes together for me.
It does.
I mean, it's like Sherlock Holmes.
I agree.
And Jack the Ripper. I love that.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I hate that it happened.
You're fascinated by it. You don't love it. I knew what you meant.
Yeah. Like, I'm not one of those people. However, I mean, I kind of like some of the darker Christmas stories. Even A Christmas Carol is very dark. If you read it in the right context.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorites. But I do have your little story here. It is it was very well researched and very, very well written. And I am definitely, I had it here. The author, his name is Tristan Hopper. He did a bang up job on this. I will just go ahead and tell you that right now. Because literally he wrote it so well. I was like, wait, is this made up? Or did he?
Is this for real?
Is this a for real story? Because, I mean, he sets a scene, honey. Listen, Tristan, you know how to do it, baby.
Get it, Tristan.
I'm just letting you know that right now. And we
here at the Midnight Guild, we appreciate you.
We do appreciate you and appreciate your lovely story, honey. Yep. Like, I mean, very well done. It was Christmas Eve at Victoria's St. Andrew's Cathedral in 1890, when just before midnight, the Latin carols and prayers of a Catholic midnight mass were suddenly shattered by the sound of a small explosion on the street outside. A contingent of worshippers rushed outside to investigate, and there saw David Fee, a spreading pool of blood around his motionless form, a hole torn in his chest. The gun blast had been so close, it had left him covered in powder burns. Fee had left the church only moments before and had been on his way to a Christmas party. It was to this party that bystanders carried his bloody form in order to get it out of the night's driving rain. Dang. Fee died, still clad in festive costume, a child's toy trumpet around his neck.
Aww.
His funeral, held only a few days later, would become the most attended in Victorian history.
Wow.
It was a crime as dark, cowardly and mysterious as ever, disfigured the history of this province, declared the Christmas Day edition of the Daily Colonist. A Christmas Eve shooting was shocking enough, but this wasn't a crime of passion or a robbery gone wrong. As prosecutors would soon argue, the 28-year-old Fee had unwittingly gotten himself caught up in a case of political murder.
Wow.
Yes. Honey, it's little deep. All right, continue on. I'm trying to put my sultry voice on for them.
Do it, honey.
Yeah. Hey, Daddy. Sorry. There was no doubt as to who had fired the fatal shot. The murderer had given himself up almost immediately. Just before 2 a.m., a sleeping constable at the city's police barracks was shaken awake by a young man of medium build with an Irish accent. "I am the man that shot a man tonight," declared 33-year-old Lawrence Phelan to the groggy officer. Investigators were able to recover the murder weapon within minutes. The Victoria police chief had been at church at the time of the murder and had heard the shot. The gun, wet from the rain and its right barrel still warm, was quickly found abandoned in a nearby house. So, honey, they got the murder weapon. We're building a case, y'all. Building it. By the time dawn broke on Christmas Day, the only thing missing was a motive. By all accounts, David Fee had been a model citizen, an active volunteer, a former firefighter, a well-liked socialite. Everyone had a good word for Dave Fee. Good old Dave.
Wow.
You need a friend, call Dave.
Call Dave, honey.
Yeah, he's got you. Today, Dave would be that person who wears the khaki cargo shorts, that has the phone, the big old phone clip to the side of the belt buckle. Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
That would be Dave.
Yeah. They always got a socket wrench you can borrow. Sorry. Excuse me. Everyone had a good word for David Fee, memorialized the Daily Colonist. He was a shopkeeper in Nanaimo. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Nanaimo. But had returned to Victoria only the day before in order to be with his parents for Christmas. He had no debts, no jilted lovers, no mortal enemies, and yet he had seemingly been marked for death in a brazen killing, more in keeping with a mob hit or a terrorist assassination.
Dang, wow. That's crazy.
Excuse me. According to the account that would be presented by prosecutors, an assassination was exactly what it was supposed to be. Political terrorism had visited the streets of Victoria, they said, but the killer had shot the wrong guy.
Oh, no.
Yes. And the plot thickens. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Frank Partridge, a friend of Fee, had been at his side at the time of the shooting. As he would later tell a coroner's inquest, the two of them had been suddenly accosted by a figure who said, "I challenge you," before raising his gun and firing.
Goodness.
The Crown would argue that Fee had been doomed by his choice of a white coat. Whelan had really been after another man that night, a foreman named Thomas Deasy, known for his white raincoat. In the killing, they argued, had been plotted as an act of Irish nationalist violence.
Goodness.
I
The plot
I
thickens
know,
some
honey.
more.
They done got the Irish mob up in here, honey. The cornerstone to the current day St. Andrew's Cathedral had been laid only 2 months before, and a dispute over a flag had reportedly inflamed tensions between site managers and the predominantly Irish-American construction crew. A Union Jack, a U.S. flag, and an Irish flag had been raised over the site of the future cathedral, but Deasy had reportedly ordered the takedown of a much more political flag, openly advocating the Irish independence from Great Britain.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he put his own flag up there. He's like, nope. Witness accounts from other workmen alleged that the incident had caused Phelan to vow revenge against Deasy, and thus, when he was picked to guard the construction site on Christmas Eve, he armed himself accordingly, knowing that Deasy, a good Irish Catholic, would be attending Mass at the old Catholic cathedral next door. The smoking gun, aside from the actual smoking gun, was said to be a cryptic note discovered at the home of one of Phelan's friends reading, "He will never speak again."
Wow.
Yeah, so, honey, he done wrote a note. Don't do that.
Yeah, idiot. But he told them himself, like a weirdo.
Canadians were much more on edge about Irish nationalist or Fenian terrorism in 1890, and for understandable reasons. Only 20 years before Fee's murder, the country had been invaded by full-fledged Irish armies intending to conquer Canada and trade it to Queen Victoria in exchange for an independent Ireland.
Wow.
To date, Canada's only assassination of a federal politician was perpetrated by an Irish nationalist. In 1868, federal MP Thomas D'Arcy McGee, an Irish-born outspoken anti-nationalist, was killed in very similar circumstances to Fee. He was gunned down at night at close range by an unprovoked assailant. By pure coincidence, the man who shot McGee was also named Phelan.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Victorious Phelan, for his part, argued that the killing of Fee had all been a big misunderstanding. On Christmas Eve, Fee and Partridge had been raising a row, and a merry-making, the fun makers, as they strode past St. Andrews. When Phelan had demanded that they show some respect for the cathedral, he reported that one of the men blew a trumpet in his face, causing him to retaliate with his shotgun.
Heavens.
Because that's what we all do.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's normal. That's a normal freaking thing to think. Like, oh, you made me a little mad. Let me just get my shotgun out.
The gun wasn't supposed to be loaded, said Phelan, and the man who provided Fee with ammunition would indeed testify that he only provided blanks. "I fired a shot, but I am no murderer," Phelan claimed to have told police upon surrendering. Also, in a claim that no witness dispute, Phelan was also incredibly drunk. So, sounds like he got drunk, got mad, went, and there he goes. It wasn't a great defense. Even a shotgun firing blanks can be lethal at close range, and the large lead slugs found in Fee's body quickly proved that, intentional or not, the gun had definitely been loaded. However, a jury would ultimately decide that Phelan was more likely a reckless drunk than a Fenian terrorist. He was convicted of manslaughter. Fee would be buried in Ross Bay Cemetery, his grave marked with a massive marble pillar so well preserved that it still seems brand new. His untimely death, meanwhile, has caused him to spend eternity as a feature attraction on Victoria's many ghost tours. His bloodied, white-coated form is alternately said to haunt his tomb or the front steps of St. Andrews, although sightings never seem to amount to more than eerie feelings. As for Phelan, his sentence would be handed down by none other than Matthew Bailey Begbie, the so-called hanging judge.
Oh.
Yeah, honey, don't mess with the whole Bailey Begbie. It'll get you. By 1891, Begbie was in the twilight of his career. His days of conducting circuit court by horseback in remote mining camps were well behind him. And he too good right now. He a George.
And George,
He
honey.
George, honey. He moved on up.
Moving on up
to the east side. All right. After a storied career of having hanged men for far less, Begbie bristled at the jury's finding of manslaughter, called Phelan a willful murderer, and hinted to him that an outraged public hungered for his blood. "Do not attempt to lie to me," he said. "I am as convinced as you stand here, guilty of a willful murder, premeditated all along, as I am of my own existence."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He didn't hold back.
Yeah, and old Judge Begbie, he wasn't playing. Phelan, you in trouble, honey. You in danger, girl. Okay. When he dealt the harshest sentence he could, a life sentence of penal servitude, said Begbie, "You shall go from here to be made miserable and to be a slave for the rest of your life."
Dang.
And yet, the man guilty of British Columbia's most dark, cowardly, and mysterious crime would be punished more lightly than almost any other notorious Victorian murderer to come. He had gunned down a man in an era when people were usually hanged for such crimes, and yet Phelan would be out within 10 years, freed by an order by an apparently sympathetic federal Ministry of Justice.
That's crazy.
So all of that, and the man serves 10 years.
That's insane.
Poor Dave Fee, you did not get your justice.
Heck no, he didn't.
You did not get your justice. Some murder in British Columbia, the Victorian era.
That was crazy.
It was crazy. It was, like I said, it was a very well written, well put little story. I truly appreciated that, even though I probably butchered it, honey.
So you did good. I will say that when you told me a Victorian, we were doing a Victorian episode, I automatically assumed England.
Well, honey, we were around then too.
No, I'm just saying it shocked me because most of the time things like that you hear. I don't think I've ever heard of a Victorian story like crime story from Canada.
Yeah, British Columbia.
So this was a very nice little treat.
Yeah, I know. It's our love Canada.
Honey, I want you to know while you were telling the story, Abel kept seeing a bug, I'm guessing, fly around. And he was over there going, it was so funny. I was like, dang, honey, you're going to take off the spotlight off Papa.
I know, honey. Stop taking the spotlight off Papa. I wore a top
Abel.
hat. I wore a top hat.
Yes, we look fabulous. I'm not going to lie.
We kind of do.
So cute.
We kind of do.
Yeah.
Hope's adored.
Guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. I did. I loved it. I loved the story. Yes. He wrote it so well.
Oh my gosh.
It was so
intrigued.
Good.
Like,
good.
Honey, I feel like it should be a play.
Yeah.
Or a movie.
Something, honey.
I would want to play the judge.
Of course you would.
He's guilty, damn it.
Guilty.
Because I said so.
That's right, baby.
The hanging judge of British Columbia.
Yes.
Who would have thought that little honey in Canada had a judge known as the hanging judge?
I know.
Honey, surprising us every day, Canada.
Yes, Canada.
Surprising us every day.
Well, I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And guys, thank you so much for watching. We hope you have, this is our last episode before Christmas.
Yes, it is.
So we hope that each and every one of you have an extremely Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy holidays, Happy Yule. Honey, whatever you celebrate, we hope you have a great one.
Exactly. We hope it's fabulous and you get to spend time with family and friends and that you get everything your little heart desires.
Yes.
Hashtag
The Guilders. Yes, that is.
All right, guys, we love you so much. And thank you so much for making these last 2 months while we've been doing this podcast. Thank you so much for making it so awesome and making us feel so welcome, so loved. And just the kind of the response we've received has been nothing but great.
Oh, truly.
And it means the absolute world to us. You guys are awesome. We love each and every one of you.
You all will have to stick around for season 2.
Yes, honey, yes. So season 2 will have way more episodes because we'll have way more time. But since it's the end of the year, we're going to go ahead and cut off season 1 and then go straight into season 2.
Yes.
And I feel like with season 2, we're definitely going to focus a little bit more on cryptids and hauntings. And we're going
to try to get y'all on some ghost hunts with us.
Yes.
Do a little bit of paranormal investigation.
Yes, we are going to try our darndest to do that. We've just got to get a few more things together and then plan them. And then get to it, honey.
We have some great ideas coming to you very soon.
Yes, darling. Yes. Guys, have a great Christmas, and we will see you on the next one, which will not be long at all. We're going to go right into season 2. We're not going to take a little break. Right after Christmas, we're going to get right back into it on New Year's Eve. Josh is having a party, and we're going to kick off with a live.
So you all are all invited.
Yes, we're going to kick off with a live at the party. And then the day after, or maybe a day or the day after, either a day or 2 days after, I'll let you know when we go live. And on social media, I'll make sure and post it and everything like that when our next video will drop. But it will not be far from it at all. We'll have a story ready to go. One in the bank.
One in the bank.
That's right. So make sure you don't miss our live. We're going to go live probably around, I would say 10 o'clock.
Yeah, right around.
Yeah, around 10 p.m. If for some reason it's a little later, don't worry. I'll post on our TikTok community page. Our YouTube community page. And I'll post on TikTok on our stories. Let's see. And I'll make a little video about it too, when we're going to go live. Mm-hmm. And we're going to try our best to go live on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. But that might change and we might just have to go on TikTok. But don't worry, we'll keep you updated. And yeah, guys, cannot wait to see you in the new year.
So if you don't have a place to be New Year's Eve, now you do.
Now you do, honey.
Honey, come join the fun.
The Guilders.
Do as the Guilders do.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, honey, if you haven't already, you need to go follow us on TikTok.
Here it comes.
Follow us on Lemon 8 just in case they ban TikTok, honey.
Y'all ready for it?
And then like I said, we're going to get that Instagram, Facebook one day.
Yeah.
And now you can also follow us over on Spotify and subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yep.
And honey.
Here it comes.
Yes.
Here it comes.
Honey, you're going to hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube.
Yes, you are.
Next to that button, you're going to see a little bell. You're going to click that bell.
Ring-a-ding.
Yeah.
Ring-a-ding.
You're going to hit all. And honey, you ain't going to miss a thing.
Won't miss a thing.
Not a thing, honey.
Won't miss a thing.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.